Mabuhay, Kamustika, welcome. How are you? This is Bob from Love Beyond the Sea. I have a new feature I wanted to briefly tell you about that's going to be on the lvbts.com website, and it's on podcast. There will be a link in there, and the link is in the description box. I usually put it in the comment section, and that'll take you to a link for podcasts, and that's where they will all be. I've only done one, and I'm going to play that for you right now on YouTube. Welcome to the Love Beyond the Sea podcast, the show that talks about relationships and marriage. I'm Bob, and today we're talking about expanding your dating boundaries, why going where you're wanted makes sense. This is because too many men don't feel wanted or needed, and they think that they have no options. Please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel and following me on Facebook and Twitter so you can stay connected with me and keep up to date with all of the latest podcasts. The videos on the YouTube channel, relationship and marriage advice, they can only be found here on Love Beyond the Sea. The theme today is going to be about going where you are wanted. GWYW, go where you're wanted. And I'm sitting here as a man married for over 5 years because that's what I did. I went where I was wanted after a very, very long search here in the United States, where I assumed I would be able to find a wife. That did not happen. So I had to adjust my strategy. I had to go out of my comfort zone, and I was able to be successful doing just that. So I want to talk to you about how that came about to be. Now, dating in America. Well, there's lots of single people in America, some by choice, some not by choice. Here in this country, there may be more unmarried people than married people for the first time ever. Average age for getting married for the first time continues to get higher, and there's a lot of people like myself that are beginning to feel like they're going to be alone for the rest of their life. That is beginning to be a big problem here in America. Pickiness is part of the problem, and that can go both ways. A lot of the women are picky. I've seen lots of dating profiles and seen profiles where women are looking for a perfect person almost, and sometimes I wonder if they're not trying to just make themselves feel better about being alone, because the standards they are putting out there for somebody to be their husband in the short time we all have left in this life is very unrealistic. Pickiness can be a problem. A lot of other profiles, I sense a lot of hurt, a lot of negativity, because most of the profile is about complaining about men in general, men they've had in their past, and it seems like they're just venting in their profile. So they're hurt or they're being too picky, but that's part of the problem. There just seems to be few options anymore. As a Christian, I couldn't even find somebody at church. Singles groups didn't really have women that I was interested in, or the women that were there had boyfriends. Single women don't seem to be going to church like they used to. I went to one church, tried different church. Going where you wanted also applies in, going to a different church or a different city or town or state or even country. But I was told, well, we don't really have any single women here. So that makes it tough for single Christian men when there seems to be no options even at church. Feminism is something that has affected a lot of men. It's ruining the country, and that would be there's a whole lot to say about that. I don't want to be negative here. I want to be positive, help men see where they can go where they're wanted. But feminism has hurt people. Women seem to look at men now as opponents rather than someone that can complement them. I've been told, maybe I'm too nice. Well, what am I supposed to be? Cruel, unkind, make myself unnice. Women may be looking for a person that has a certain amount of income, maybe more income than they really need, but that can be an issue. Age, when I got to about 50, I realized that women on dating sites tended to want to look a little bit lower for their age group, maybe somebody 45, 46, 48, and so here I was 50, 52, 53 years old having to look at options, as 56 years old. Well, that was just kind of too high for me, which I tried, and it still didn't work. So all of these things can make a person feel like maybe they should just accept being singleness. There's plenty of people out there to tell you that you're trying too hard, you're looking too hard, you're not doing this enough, or you're doing that too much. Maybe you should just accept being single, and I just could not do that. I had to do something. I ended up going where I was wanted, and I want to tell you a little bit about that. Since I had tried everything here and was getting depressed, they say that anger is a goal blocked and depression is a goal impossible. I was at that impossible stage. Didn't know how I was going to find anybody. My pastor told me he gave me an article about a man who found somebody in the Philippines. And I had never thought about that because I figured I'd find somebody right here where I was. I didn't know I had to go somewhere else. And I did, and it worked. Joined a website called Christian Filipina, started looking at profiles, was amazed how many women there seemed to be interested in me, and you'll find that on probably any Asian dating site you're on. Women, they are looking for a better life, they are looking for a man who can help take care of them, and so you're going to have lots of options there. You have lots of options as far as the age group that you're looking for. I signed up, and on a Saturday morning, Christian Filipina, and I spent 2 days pretty much just looking at profiles, taking notes, and then I realized I'm going to have to take some time off work because there's so many women to choose from. I actually could almost begin to see the light at the end of the tunnel. So I took 2 more days off, and I collected a long list of notes of different ID numbers of profiles that I want to contact, wrote down their name, of course, and started chatting. I had to turn down a couple hundred chats because, well, I needed time to look for profiles, but you're going to find a lot of people wanting to talk, and it can be an overwhelming process. Fortunately for me, what made my job easier was I chatted with the woman I married one day, and she said she would hide her profile if I would focus on her, and she would focus on me too. She wanted a one-woman man, and when she brought this to my attention, I thought, well, I just signed up a little while ago. I had actually purchased a lifetime membership because I assumed it would take a long time, which it didn't. And I told her, well, I don't know, I kind of wanted to keep looking for other women too. And she said, well, you can look for other women if you want, but you won't be talking to me. So she was serious. And I thought, well, I'm not going to, I could be looking at profiles for the rest of my life because there's new people joining all the time, and you got to go over your list and you got to talk to people. So I said, okay, I'll do that. Let's just focus on each other. And so we did for about 4 hours a day, a couple hours in the morning, a couple hours in the evening. And then on day 18, I was so sure about her, I proposed to her. And then I had to go do everything you need to do to go to the Philippines. I got a passport and time off of work. I made an appointment with the embassy because I was going there for the purpose of marrying her. And I met her, gave her the ring, we got married. While I was over there on May 10th, I think I left on about the 21st, we began the immigration process, and we have been together since January 11th of 2016. So I went where I was wanted, and in seemingly no time at all, I was already married. So expanding your boundaries and going out of your comfort zone is something that I think you're going to have to do if you're getting very frustrated and you think you're going to be alone the rest of your life. There is hope. Dating outside of America is not what it is here. I think when you do that with a place like the Philippines, your age won't be as much of an issue. What you look like won't be as much of an issue. how much money you have in the bank won't be as much of an issue. If that Filipina immigrates to your country, in all likelihood she's going to want to work to help herself and her family. She's not going to expect you to do that. That is something that she does expect herself to do, and so she's probably going to want to work, and I think you should let her work. When looking overseas, of course, we want things to be easy. Pick up the phone, call her, go to a movie or something like that. Well, you just can't do that. So you're going to have to go do things that you didn't want to do before. I had set a limit on myself for like 50 miles. Anywhere outside of 50 miles I thought was just going to take up too much time. Well, I hadn't really considered webcamming because I was looking for somebody locally. I did buy a webcam. A little bit uncomfortable at first talking to Filipinas, but you just have to get used to that. I think they're basically very easy to get along with, make you feel comfortable, and that went very, very well. In Love Beyond the Sea, I've got lots of questions that you can ask a Filipina to get to know her. In fact, it's on the front page of the website under questions. I encourage you to take a look at that. Lots of questions for different situations. That'll make your job easier and more comfortable doing. You're going to have to spend some money, of course, to go visit her and deal with the airports and all of that, but that's just the way it is. I mean, if you know you can find somebody, and I believe you can in the Philippines, many people have, then you just have to do what you have to do and go where you're wanted. We know probably 4 couples who are married to Philam couples, Filipino and American couples, ranging from upper 30s to low 60s for the men. And that's what they did. They went where they was wanted. They had the same stories I've talked to them about. They just couldn't find anybody here. They wanted to be married. They had a sense that going overseas could work for them, and they did. That's what they did. They didn't make a lot of excuses about how bad things were here in the West. You can't find anybody in America. The women are too picky, and the feminism and all that. But women are not all the same. The women I found in the Philippines were not picky. They were realistic. They knew what they were getting into. They wanted, in many cases, an older man who they believed would be faithful to them and be a one-woman man and provide for them, which is what I've been able to do. And another good thing about this is I didn't have to lower what I was looking for. I didn't have to settle for mediocrity. I was already depressed from being alone. I wasn't going to just marry for the sake of getting married. I still wanted a quality woman. That's why in my profile on Christian Filipina, I looked for a quality Filipina. I stated similar things that I was looking for in the West. I talked about what type of husband I wanted to be, and maybe that scared off some people here. I don't know. Certainly didn't scare off my wife. She heard what she wanted to hear. She heard somebody being just honest about what they were looking for, and as we talked about our pasts, we figured, we're gonna make a life for ourselves, and so that's what I did. I proposed to her on day 18, got married in 54, and I made the very right decision for me without having to lower my standards. My wife's a lot better, I think, than I suppose what I thought she was, getting married so soon. I just continued to learn more good things about her. So it's a good time to mention I do have an affiliate link for Christian Filipina on the lvbts.com website. You can click on that and take you to the website, see what I'm talking about, what's on there, and how the women, what they're looking for, and just get an idea. And I'm sure there's people you can contact there, phone numbers of customer support that will help answer your questions. They were very, very helpful to me. I was in touch with them quite a bit because going out of my comfort zone like this, doing something I never even thought about, I had a lot of questions, especially with immigration. I also have a link, a banner there that you can click on if you are going to use Christian Filipina visa services. That will help make your job a lot easier so you can continue to focus on your relationship and not argue about all those things, and then you can be with her just as soon as possible. So I want you to know that Love Beyond the Sea is out there. Mine was. She was out there the whole time. I just had thought it was too far away, and it wasn't what I figured I would be doing, but I couldn't be happier. I took 30 years to look for somebody, assuming I would find her right where I was. And I was dead wrong. Less than 8 weeks, I found a wife I've been married to for over 5 years from the Philippines. So she's out there. You just have to go look for her. Might be a lot further out than you wanted. Might have to spend some money to go see her. But that's what I had to do. And many people have done the same thing. And I want to encourage you to think about finding a wife in a different city, a different state, even a different country. But my wife and I are an unlikely pair, but we have been doing very well together. So I hope that helps you realize that if you have been alone for a long time, don't wait till you're 50 or 60 or 70. Try overseas. If you're a Christian, try Christian Filipina. You may very well be at the end of your search. Well, that's all for today's episode here on Love Beyond the Sea. Thank you for listening. Join us again next time when we'll have another topic. This was actually the very first podcast that I've done. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast on Podbean so you never miss an episode. Plus, if you haven't subscribed to Love Beyond the Sea YouTube channel, follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Make sure to and stay up to date. Make sure to stop by our website and the Community Corner message board to meet other like-minded people who are searching for their love beyond the sea.